There you go.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the East Cocalico Township Board of Supervisors meeting to order and start by the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would ask that everyone please double check their phones and make sure that they're on vibrate, please. Also, I would also ask that everyone would kindly make sure they keep their masks on so we can go ahead and follow the CDC guidelines that are in place. This East Cocalico Township Board of Supervisor meeting is duly
Be enchanted by her.
How you doing?
And I was,
anyone that's on Zoom, could I also ask you, please make sure your all your microphones are on mute. So the advertisement of this meeting, the Thursday, this meeting was advertised, excuse me. The Thursday, April 15th, Board of Supervisor meeting was duly advertised in accordance with the second-class township code in the Lancaster newspaper. I'd like to also announce that we had the following executive session, and that executive session was held on yesterday on April 14th. That executive session occurred between 12 noon and we finished at approximately 2:40 in the afternoon. That executive session involved contractual issues as well as multiple personnel issues. Moving on to the past meeting minutes for approval. Do we have any changes, corrections to the meeting minutes from Thursday, April 1st? I don't have any changes either. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as they've been presented?
I'll make that motion.
And I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed, motion carries. What we're going to do, we normally move into the action for land planning, but we're going to have a little bit of a change because we have a bunch of young gentlemen and ladies here. Do you want to do your portion of the skate park presentation while they're here, because I believe they have a couple of things they might want to say also.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Karen, is there anything on here at all, or is it part of the agenda?
I don't know if Ken has that on there. You mean the drawings?
The drawings, yeah, just
Yeah.
so.
See if Ken has those on there.
Yes. Yes. This is for the
skate park.
Yeah, we're doing that one now. We jumped around.
as well.
Okay,
Okay.
that's okay.
don't have all my phone. It's okay. Okay. All right, so, we're here from the Parks and Rec Board. This is, Eddie, who's the president, chairman, and I'm Sarah Irving, I'm the vice president. And we're just here to give an update on the proposed beginner scooter street bike park at the Reedstown Municipal Park. So, those of you that were at the last meeting, there were some concerns about the location. So we did go out, we did a site visit on April 15th with Armit Concrete. And we mapped everything out with Steve Kepley was there along with Tony, who's the zoning manager. And we got everything mapped out. We do have those documents. They're going to be put up on the website so everybody can see where that stuff is located. Armit Concrete also went out today with Casey from Becker Engineering to the location to work on the water runoff. So he got that, all of the drawings are completed and those were sent over to Casey for his review for today. Then I know there was some concerns from some citizens, so just wanted to, we have some youth that are here that want to talk about the skate park and what it would mean to them. I also have, and I'll share this with the board members, some letters of support from the community. There is one letter that came in after, I printed that, so I apologize, I don't know. But yeah, we can post all of it. So do you want to post it? Well, I did a little like writing to show it. Hello, most of you adults remember being kids. We like to be outside, explore new hobbies, and meet new people. I know that there have been some back and forth about our hopefully soon-to-be skate park. Coming from a kid that loves to skate and hang out with people, I think that moving forward with this skate park can give kids new opportunities and friendships. A lot of my best friends I have met through skateboarding or the skate park. I've been going and skating at Denver Skate Park for almost 2 years, and not once have I been bullied or talked to in a bad way. You may think that bringing a skate park to this town will cause a lot of noise. The only noise that sticks out to me when I'm at the skate park are the cheers of people motivating each other or telling somebody good job when they land. I also know this would be a great prime location for the skate park to be, because there are a bunch of big developments around that seem like a kid would be able to safely walk back and forth. This location can help kids from lots of neighborhoods find a great hobby, but also add another to our skating stuff. What's great about our skate park is not just for skateboarders. Bikers, roller skaters, and even scooters can come and enjoy it. A struggle for me and my brother when we want to go skate is that we have to ask our parents to go to Denver and miss the time they're busy. Putting a skate park at this location will help me and a lot of others explore new opportunities and progress in skating. Thank you for listening and considering my business. You guys want to say anything? You have more support?
All right, so these. All right, so I think a skate park here is a very good idea because it gives kids like a chance to have somewhere to be rather than skating in the street. Because when like it happens in Denver, kids get yelled at for skating in the road. Just like here, it will happen because kids are trying to find a place to be with their friends, and like me, I don't play sports. I'm not that great at sports, so I skate, and I go to the skate park to skate and have fun with my friends. Having a skate park at Reedstown give the kids like a platform to like not get in trouble with like skateboarding.
Anybody online?
So as a board member of the Cocalico Alternative Sports Association, I can tell you that the stereotypes that skateboarders seem to get, sex, drugs, the loud music, we spend a lot of time down at the Denver skate park, and I have yet to see any of that stuff. You may have a kid who every now and then says a swear word, and I have seen on Facebook that some people were concerned about that, but Most of them are teenagers, so they're going to swear, and I'm sure if someone came up to them and said, hey, that's not appropriate, they'll stop swearing. But I haven't seen kids drinking alcohol, having sex, or doing drugs when I'm at the skate park. And our CASA organization, we have amazing kids, and they're talented at skateboarding, deserve to have other places to skate except for the Denver skate park. Closer to their homes, and like Priscilla said, the kids that live in Reamstown, they want a place that they can walk to. We personally live in Reinhold. I drive my boys to the Denver skate park all the time. So it would be nice to have something closer and another location to take them to.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Anybody?
Something in the very back.
Hi, I live in Reamstown and I can see the park from my house. And I think the park is a wonderful idea for beginner skaters. I remember 25 years ago when my nephews were learning to skate, how far we had to go to find an appropriate place for them to learn how to skate. I think having something within this area with the growth that we had in the last 25 years, I think it's just awesome, and I'm glad to see it finally might be happening. I can really support this. And for the kid who said he's not into sports, don't kid yourself. It's a sport. Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Sure, great. So good afternoon, I'm Jim Jessup from the Reamstown Park and also a resident of Reamstown. I'll start by saying I think that both the Reamstown Park Board as well as my family, the Jessup family, think the skate park's a great idea. Wonderful, I think the community deserves this. I think the youth are well represented here tonight. I think it's an awesome idea. I think I'm a little concerned about the site survey that's been put forth, and I'm not sure exactly how many studies were put forth on it, but I will tell you that we've got a couple objections to this. Obviously, we have some private property neighbors that adjoin the park that are concerned about this. Obviously, I think anybody would be concerned about having this type of facility 10 feet from their backyard. As you know, the surveys, the results that, I kind of read through all the surveys that were put out about the 5 different programs, or 5 different projects. The community was really, they were surveying to get, interest in. I don't know if we're aware, but the skate park was the second most objected to within that survey. Okay, so out of the 5, it was the second most objected. I don't think that was, a fair opinion, because unfortunately, I think that was really due to location. So as we talk to the neighbors and certainly the people around us, they think there's some better choices for areas within the community that this could be relocated to. I don't know if you're aware, but the Reamstown Memorial Park, the Memorial Park Association that would attach this property or to this property due to liability insurance, we have a no skateboard policy. No skating at all, no scooters at all. And that's a liability issue and has been a liability issue for a long time. So there's some concern from the board as to obviously how those children are going to get to and from the skate park. Number 2, we incurred an incredible expense a number of years ago where our sewer system and septic system was declared unusable by the township. We spent almost $100,000 to build a restroom facility. That restroom facility is, obviously open 9 to 9 daily. We feel it's one of the responsibilities to to the community and our public, but that is only open seasonally. So right now, the township doesn't actually service that section of the park. There's no trash can, there's no receptacles, there's no, there's not a porta potty up there. There's nobody that's going to actually service that. So we're certainly concerned about it. Obviously, you need a place to, hang out. This is wonderful. They need a skate park. I think that's wonderful. I think we could find some better facilities for this. As an example, obviously the funding in Stony Park has fallen through. There's a lot of acreage sitting in Stony Park. It's not being utilized. There's a lot of acreage sitting directly in the pool grounds property that could be better suited there, where we wouldn't be exactly erecting a unit 10 feet from a private property private citizens, facility. So looking at the upper parking lot of the pool lot, completely unutilized. There's been a lot of obviously dead growth of trees we've all been dealing with in the park, both parks. So there's a great lot sitting alongside of the pool right now that has just been cleared. would be ample. Again, ample amount of room, allow everything to be accomplished, but again, it does not back up to private property within, certainly within 10 feet of somebody's backyard. So I think, although the project looks like it's got great merits for the town, certainly great merits for the youth, I think there are some complications that need to be ironed out with it before we find the exact spot that needs to be put into. So the Reamstown Park certainly has some concerns, again, parking, traffic, obviously maintenance and care, restroom facilities. The pool facility looks like it would not back up to that 10-foot, within 10 feet of a private citizen facility or private citizen's property. So I think there's some more discovery that needs done about where the perfect place is for this to exist. Again, not objected to the project itself, but certainly not acceptant of where we're planning to put it.
So is it fair to say that your primary concern is really the geographic location of where that skate park was?
100%, absolutely. The park board met on Tuesday night. We wanted to attend the rec board meeting as a board. And there are 4 of us on the board, or 3 of us on the board here tonight, present from the Memorial Park Association of Reamstown. And again, that was our entire topic of conversation, was that, we certainly support, we of all entities, and we're a non-tax supported entity within this community, we support any youth activities that are good youth activities within this community. We don't think that this is well planned as far as the site survey.
So let me propose here a middle ground, because I think fundamentally we're all in agreement. Where we have common ground is it sounds like we agree this is a great idea for the kids.
Absolutely.
Great idea for the kids. My daughter's a surfer, so I know what you guys go through. The surfing community does similar things. Okay. What I propose at this point, Eddie, is you have that common ground. How about your board and the rec board get together, go physically together, take a look at where that site is, where the site location is that you have proposed right now. Okay? Physically walk over to the pool area, the areas he's recommending to take a look at. Let's at least take a look at those together.
And, sorry.
Sure.
My husband, I did go out because he put some stuff online about his ideas, but the one area by the pool, there's a frisbee golf there, and there's also a lot of stumps. It's also on a hill. So a hill is not a good location to put a skate park. We have to have concrete walls and different things put in if we're gonna have it on the slope.
Okay.
I would offer
It would add to the cost of the project for sure. And so, so we also, I appreciate what you were saying and the objections that you have and concerns that you have. I feel like you, in some ways, you misrepresented some information. Though you said a couple of things that that the survey that was done, that half of them were objections, where half of them were actually approved and half of them.
And that's not what I said. I will tell you exactly what I said. What I had said was, out of the 5 projects that were proposed, this had an 8 least preferred, which was the second. They had 8 preferred, 8 least preferred. If you look at the least preferred amount within your survey, this is the second highest least preferred project out of the 5.
And it was also the second.
But listen,
But it was also, to your point, it was also about the second highest.
please
So,
understand.
no, because you're misrepresenting information. I
I'm
just want to be very clear. on
100% in favor of the skate park. That is
Listen.
not what this is about.
When you brought something up and you misinformed everybody about.
I don't think it was a misinformation.
You did,
You
because-
just qualified that it was the
Excuse me.
second largest.
Excuse me. You said it was the roulette, and I listened to you, everybody else listened to you.
Mhm.
And what you said was it was the second most unfavored project. But
It was.
you also didn't say, include that it's also the second most favored project. Making it look.
Oh, you
like-
can say that, please.
I just did, but you didn't. And
Well, I
so
didn't.
it's important that you represent all the information. I take it that you probably never stepped foot on a skate park, you didn't have it.
No, actually, I was a very avid skater as a youth. Thank you very much for
You
asking.
were, okay.
I was.
So then you would know that you would need a pretty flat surface in order to to erect a beginner skate park or a skate park in general, right?
I think that what will get lost in those details is
No,
that
I'm just asking a question.
I think what will get lost in those details is the fact that there will be excavation necessary no matter what site that you choose. And that's very flat. It's very flat. Yes, there will be some stumps that need to be removed, but quite honestly, you're gonna have water retention you're gonna have to excavate for.
Sure.
We do have a creek issue there. And in the middle of Reamstown Park, since we're gonna discuss this, is a 40-inch pipe that runs underneath the large ball field. We are already having runoff issues. The township is already under investigation of a large project to control the water runoff coming off the township property, both the parking lots out there to service the pool area, as well as the developments up above that area. As a result, we are very conscious because again, we're a private property. So our 14 acres, we have to manage and maintain. So as that runoff comes downstream for us, we would expect that retention or some type of a stormwater management plan was put into place for this skate park.
So you think that we didn't have the foresight or?
No, I didn't say that. What I said was there will be excavation necessary on either site that you choose to work with.
Well, the point that you were trying to make is the water runoff. And we have a proposed plan of a flower garden, so that basically essentially absorbs water for the runoff. So they make it more aesthetically pleasing to the community. This is just the first, we're doing a 2 to 4 year plan right now. And part of it is the beautification of our parks and our township. And part of that is getting the infrastructure in first, and then thereafter making it look pretty and nice and presentable. But of course, as you know, you have to get the materials in there first, okay? So from that perspective, water retention and water runoff is a number one priority, because we did speak about that when you walked out the other day and expressed your concerns. And so, I appreciate where you're coming from this, but I don't understand. And the woman who happened to be there, she and I had a conversation through text message or Facebook or whatever you want to call it, and seems to be a lot more on board. I mean, she explained to me the situation that her son, had essentially was a skater herself, and so her concerns were, again, because of the skate. I guess there was a skate shop or whatever, and whatever the case may be back in the day, brought certain types of people in there, whatever the case may be, I don't know. But when I said beginner and explained to her what the purpose of the park was, it completely changed her mindset on what it was. And she's like, this actually makes a lot more sense. So again, I think it's about creating awareness and educating and being an educator to East Cocalico Township, local residents on what we're doing. And again, we've been working on this since October. And so what the issue and the problem that we have as a board is that these announcements were made. There were plenty of opportunities for people and individuals to express their concern or their, I would say concern, and I think that's what they are. But at the same time, we put a lot of time and effort into this. And really, you think that we didn't think about these things of putting them in different places. We did. We looked at all the different places. We're looking at impervious surfaces, you know what I mean? And where to go and where would be the best place for it. I mean, you talk about, from a parking standpoint, there's a parking lot right down there, plenty of parking there. You know what I mean? You think everyone's gonna park like in your park and come up and do that? I mean, you really think that? I mean, you guys only have like a few parking spots. And again, I don't know your dynamics of it, but.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Our bread and butter for the park is Saturday and Sundays,
Okay.
and we have rentals. What's gonna guarantee that those kids aren't gonna be skateboarding back and forth? It's illegal to skateboard in the park now. We're gonna just be calling the police constantly.
Well, I mean, put signs up.
They don't even read signs.
I mean,
Wait, I'm sorry, are you saying skateboarders don't read?
I'm just
They don't
saying,
know how to
they
read.
don't pay attention to the signs.
But football players and baseball players do, is what you're basically saying.
They're not interfering with the rentals. That's Saturday and Sundays.
so when you say rentals, like, are you talking about like pavilions and stuff like that?
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's something I think that is a valid concern for sure. I mean, what we were planning on doing is also putting signage up there. You know what I mean? And basically doing like boundaries and stuff like that, because of the fact that, we want to be respectful towards the private.
Yeah, the
property.
thing with that is initially it will all work, and you'll have new kids coming in. The language doesn't get transmitted to them correctly.
The language of a sign, you think?
But Eddie, let me step in here. Let me propose something here, which I think is probably the best way to do this. Let's pull together a scope of work. Okay, and what I mean by that is the following. We focus on, I think, where some of the hurdles lie, where some of the challenges lie. And what I'm hearing fundamentally is really only the hurdle and the challenge is possibly this geography.
Correct.
Of where it's physically located. Okay, so what we do is our rec board, along with your board, I think in all fairness, the right thing to do is you go out there together. You take a look at exactly where this is located together. In exchange, you then go with our board in one afternoon, an hour or so, go to the locations where you believe by the pool it's best suited. Okay? Then what we do is we make a list of items that you have valid concerns over and what those items are. Present them to our board. Our board on that geography can go ahead and list what possibly some of the concerns are in terms of the slope of the property and things like that. Once we have those two basic items, we can then, I'm sure, come to common ground in terms of where's the best geography for it and where can we.
I think it's an amenable plan. I think it's a great idea. The fact is, again, let's not leave this meeting without understanding that we're always about athletics and this type of project for the youth of our community. So I think it's a great idea. And certainly if it's funded, I think it's even better. Let's just find the right place to put it.
So then that's why I'm saying let's focus on the geography and let's focus on those bullet points that you have some concerns over, possibly the bullet points that we have related to, again, the geography or some of the challenges we have and find where that middle ground is, and we'll find the middle ground. I think that's the best way to go.
Mr. Chair, if I could.
Sure.
Eddie, do you think it would be okay if I would read the text message from the resident who has the property 10 feet from the park?
As long as she's present and she's okay with that, I'm more than happy to do so.
Don't know if she's present or not. Do you think she would be offended if I read it?
I don't think so. I think it was a real honest, and she thanked me for taking her comment. So I think it was, it's a little bit.
She explained, and it's kind of long, but I will try and go through it quickly. Just to put the fact that it was used several times that there is private property 10 feet away, but I think
There are 4 private properties 10 feet away.
so the lady that is right there with the fence where it would be, she said that word beginner with several exclamation points behind it makes a world of difference. Should have been included all along. Thank you, exclamation point. We welcome a beginner wheeled park. There's a huge difference between a beginner park and a regular skate park. Example, Lancaster, Denver, Ephrata. I am not against your ideas. It is not feasible that we move, relocate, and have lived in this location 30 plus years. Our home is paid for. We are in our 60s. We use our entire yard with a playground to the back, which is very close to the skate park proposed. One of our sons used to skate, and yes, we supported him and bought him boards and even drove him to Lancaster all the time to use their advanced park. I may have a bad view of skateboarding because I lived across the street from a former skateboard store, which that was quite a while ago. I would say that that's not included in the message. It did bring a ton of bad people into the neighborhood. Increase the boarding on the roads and the sidewalks for the people that were in the area. There have been very few skateboarders since the board closed. I apologize if I came off as an old grumpy person. That is not, doesn't want anything good or change in the community. That is not my intent. She has to stop by. She has 11 grandkids. She did not, in so many words, want a full skate park, like let's say an example of Denver. So she said, please use the word beginner when you speak of the skate park. It will. I assure you, make a ton of difference. She did indicate that it's something that it does get a little marshy there when it rains, but I think that's in the plan to work through that step. But I think her text message was important to indicate that once she found out that it, if you want to call it a beginner or a wheeled skate park, her view changed tremendously of that. I just,
I think that's positive. That's wonderful, but you know, again, I don't think it changes a lot of what we're talking about, you know, again.
One more question, Ken?
I don't know if it's been brought up before. I don't know where the flood zone is for the creek. I know it does flood out every once in a while. And if it does, would that sustained flooding destroy the park surface?
I think Ken has evaluated that the flood area is further down into the park and maybe.
I live on that street. I was denied a shed behind my garage. I wanted to put a 10 by 10. I was only allowed to put a 10 by 8 because of the water.
Oh, I can hear you.
I don't understand what a big slab of wood up there
The right audio.
would make a difference.
Okay, well, great. That makes me happy. Thank you so much.
Mrs. Weaver, could you mute your, okay, she did, go ahead.
Did you get that?
I understand that, and I don't have any.
I want to see it. I want to see something happen.
Here's,
Working with Becker Engineering specifically on the water, like they met today to go over that issues and the retention, and I don't know all these things, I'm not a contractor, but they're working through that and making sure they're following all the laws that each township has.
no, and here's the other thing I'd like to offer up, if you're both okay with it, if you're both okay with this. I will gladly step in and help facilitate and go with you when you go and pull this together, when you look at this, and we come up with these itemized items so that we can find this common ground. If you're amenable to doing that, I have no problem doing that.
I'm just asking we do it sooner than later because
Sure, yeah. Yeah, well, Tara, you know how I operate, the sooner, the
Yeah.
faster, the better. So, yes, young man.
I have a question. All right, so about how that lady was talking about how the word beginner changed her mind throughout the whole thing. Why is that? You really think like they're gonna build a skate park and people like, is it seriously just going to be little kids learning how to skate? Because it seems to me it's kind of like age grouping or saying, oh, if you're very good, it's not like skate park for you. Like, I don't really think that's going to work like that. I think there's going to be way more people than just beginners that are gonna do it.
I think the whole thing,
Yeah, I think the
we take that.
description was just for her.
yeah, it was more so along the lines of acknowledging, it seems like there's, people are concerned about the size of the park.
Yeah, I understand that, but
And
people are going to use it differently. If there's any flip tricks,
Of course.
I would think there'll be a ledge or something.
Yep.
I don't, it just kind of like weirded me out that they were kind of like more okay with it when it said beginner. Like, because it could, like, Denver could be a beginner park, for instance. Like, they're beginners. I was a beginner when I skated there. I kind of don't understand this. Kind of,
I understand, trust me, I get what you're saying, and I guarantee it's not gonna be like labeled beginner skate park.
oh, I don't care about the label. I
Yeah.
just care about how some people think that just because they didn't use the word beginner, that it's not okay, like to build a skate park or to have a skate. It's kind of messed up.
May I speak to that?
Sure.
There, the reference in her email or her text message, there was a skate store very close to where the projector is, and there was a lot of teenagers that did not, and I think in her eyes, they were not beginners because of the skate store, and there was a lot of bad things coming out of that store.
Yeah, I
There was
understand.
nothing bad coming out of that store, I worked there.
I can't be quiet any longer. I was the owner of that.
No, I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I don't
That's
understand.
He did not tolerate
That
bad
was,
behavior.
that was.
Bad.
gave us problems.
Everybody, everyone, young man, thank you for your comments, I appreciate that, thank you.
And I understand where you're.
I think we have a plan of action moving forward. Okay, let's do that. Okay, we have an agreement there. I have one more quick question, I guess.
Is there not enough room at Stony Point to put this in?
Yeah, it's more of an access situation. I mean, Stony Point Park, I mean, there's a playground going in there already. So we're breaking it down about 5, 6 weeks. Sorry, you don't think what?
There's a park going.
Yeah, there's a playground going in.
Yeah.
It was approved last meeting.
It was, we talked about it, we've been talking about it for the last like 3 months. And so, anyway, we'll talk as part of the.
So we have a plan of action and we'll each take some of those action items and move forward. Okay? Thank you, everyone.
Before anybody leaves.
Oh,
Real quick,
Yeah, sorry, before anyone leaves, the chief found these.
or I didn't, somebody found. Let's
We
go.
found these keys in the parking lot that were dropped. So if anybody.
You can employees, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
there's
gonna
a
check
letter-
tomorrow, but I just wanted to.
Yeah, it says USPS, so it's a postal service key and it's a Ace Hardware, looks like a regular door key. So if they were lost, we'll leave them in the office and Lisa will have them in the office, okay? Great, thank you, everyone. Yeah.
If I may, I'll just.
Perfect. Okay, Brett, we'll now move on to land planning whenever you're ready.
All right, the first item on the agenda.
He's got all the information.
Produce, preliminary final land development plan. Background, there are Todd Show from Pioneer Management is in attendance for the plan. Providing a little background for the board. At your meeting on March 4th, the project was discussed with you, and there were various waiver modifications that were considered, and they were recommended for approval. More recently, on April 1st, project aspects of the project were discussed with you related to legal documents that were required to be signed, primarily a traffic signal easement agreement and a stormwater management easement agreement. As far as status of the ongoing outside agency reviews, the applicant has obtained their NPDS permit that was issued around April 6th from the Conservation District on behalf of DEP. The applicant also has received approval letter from CDM Smith with respect to the authority related to improvements and service. So there has been multiple plan reviews conducted. Most recent letter was issued April 9th. The applicant responded, the applicant's consultant responded with updated submission on April 12th. And we are currently reviewing that submission, but are prepared tonight to go over certain motions with respect to conditional approval of the plan and related confirmation of financial security and authorization for signature of appropriate documents such as the improvement guarantee agreement and ultimately the land development plan. So I think Todd is present. We'll go into any level of detail that you would like or answer any questions. I'll leave that up to the pleasure of the board in terms of how deep to dive in it. Maybe just to highlight again, for those that may be new to the project, or it is related to Four Seasons Produce warehouse expansion. It has two components to the expansion. One will be 129,000 square foot warehouse addition towards, I'll say, the effort side, or the, we'll call it the rear as the zero Wabash. And then another 21,850 square foot secondary expansion, which is potentially slated for slightly later. The initial building will be constructed, but the plans as submitted from the stormwater management and traffic impact study analysis and all those NPDES permit and authority review were addressing both expansions. The applicant did obtain the zoning hearing board approval on a variance to limit required parking based on certain specific conditions and criteria. There was an alternate parking lot expansion project, which is also addressed on the plan. Approximately 61 parking stalls is addressed from a stormwater management standpoint, could be constructed at any time, but at this point would not be a part of the immediate construction project, and is not required for compliance with parking standards. So as far as the updated submission that I received a few days ago, I have looked at it briefly, and essentially we are generally satisfied. There may be one or two items I want to discuss and respond, but those are very minor related to plan location. Any other?
So anything you want to say from an overview perspective?
You asked them to go that way.
You want to ask?
For going over the project so thoroughly. We have discussed with Mr. Reed in his office on multiple occasions the various comments that we received. We appreciate his help throughout the project in regards to expediting where we're at today, just based off of the schedule that Four Seasons would like to meet, ultimately getting into the facility. As Mr. Reed stated, we did respond to his most recent letter. And if all the plan related items and stormwater comments have been addressed, which we believe them to be, but nonetheless, we'll wait for review. I really only do see a handful of administrative items. And as a matter of fact, we did receive the draft letter of credit from Four Seasons lending institution today, and that was forwarded to the township to review to make sure that the format was acceptable. Everything else, I believe, would be just signatures on plans, seals, and then signatures of agreements.
Great, great.
If there's nothing else, I did issue an updated report, which you have confirmed you received. And the update addressed this motion that I'm reading, and what it was updated to do is reference the review letter of April 9th, in addition clarifying an additional requirement related to the future evaluation, post-construction evaluation of the intersection again, and that being the intersection of Wabash Road and 272. And that is just to confirm if there is any need for possible future timing alterations to that signal. All the traffic studies have been submitted and reviewed. John Chick, the town transportation engineer, has approved the traffic study. But as a cautionary measure, the recommendation was, and included in the report, was that a post-construction analysis be done of the intersection to confirm if there's any opportunities to improve the timing of the signal following the full operation of the facility. So the motion.
Just a question, if I could, there before we go forward, is that fairly regular procedure that there be a post analysis of traffic?
It's not really unique. No, it's been done in other cases. Yes.
Okay.
And it's really just confirming all the expectations, assumptions within the report. But in this report, the assumptions were also based upon evaluations of the current operation. So in some projects, you do not have an existing operation in that location to evaluate. Here, you have an existing operation, you have good information to base the expansion on, and there's confidence there. But John Schick also noted, and it was noted in the report, we are dealing with unique times here in terms of traffic. So some of the counts that were performed as the basis of this, not from their facility operation standpoint, but more so background traffic, may have been unusual or abnormal, and so John is convinced the signal has adequate capacity, that there's not an issue with that. It's just a matter of how you work that signal, and this would be an ideal way to address that and ensure that it's optimal. And it's not a tremendous amount of effort to do it.
Okay.
And it's strictly just the timing of the signal.
Yeah.
Right. It's a matter of evaluating counts again, monitoring how it performs, and then adjusting a signal permit plan, and then having somebody such as CMI go out and adjust the timing of the signal if necessary. And that's if necessary. If all assumptions pan out the way they're supposed to, that may not be necessary at all. So the motion would be to conditionally approve the Four Seasons Produce preliminary final land development plan conditional on the applicant addressing all remaining items outlined in the Becker Engineering LLC review letter dated April 9th, 2021, to the satisfaction of the township zoning officer, township engineer, and township solicitor, including a requirement that the applicant acknowledge their obligation to perform a post-development traffic count and peak period signal timing analysis for the intersection of Wabash Road and Route 272, approximately 3 months after the warehouse is in full operation, or alternate time if approved by the township, to determine if any signal timing adjustments are necessary to address increased traffic and potential non-COVID traffic conditions, and the applicant updating PennDOT traffic signal plans as required to authorize and document any signal timing changes, and the applicant making any signal timing changes deemed necessary by the township and approved by PennDOT.
I'll make that motion.
And I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed, motion carries.
Next motion would be to acknowledge the required.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. To acknowledge the required amount of financial security to be established with the township for the Four Seasons Produce preliminary final land development plan in the amount of $1,505,224.85 per the approved opinion of probable cost prepared by Pioneer Management LLC dated March 17th, 2021, revised April 9th, 2021.
And I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any questions? Yes, Doug.
Just Frank, at the last meeting, I'm trying to wrap my head around the numbers you stated, and it's too late, you already made the motion. But I could have sworn that total expansion was like 100,000 square feet. And now it's 120 and 20. Unless I'm totally wrong, it was 44 bays or something like you were gonna double it.
I believe it might have been 49 base, but the square footage of the expansion has always been 129,508 square feet. Then there was a second expansion, which was 21,850.
Okay, that's one of those. All right, thank you. All right.
Sorry about that.
No.
I apologize. Okay, so
memory.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Next motion would be to authorize the board of supervisors to sign the improvement guarantee agreement for the Four Seasons Produce preliminary final land development plan when signed by the applicant and provided in a form acceptable to the township and township solicitor, along with the required financial security in a form acceptable to the township solicitor.
And I will make that motion.
And I will second that. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed, motion carries.
Next motion would be to authorize signature of the Four Seasons Produce preliminary final land development plan by the board of supervisors to fund the applicant adequately resolve with all conditions of approval, plan approval to the satisfaction of township zoning officer, township engineer, and township solicitor.
And I will make that motion.
I'll second that.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed, motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is Brutus Road, Lot 5. Previously, Casey was in attendance March 18th, when several waivers were addressed and the plan was conditionally approved. Subsequent to that time, the applicant's consultant has submitted additional information to our office that has been reviewed. And in response to that updated submission, they did request one additional waiver modification. So the issue before you tonight would be to authorize to approve a waiver modification of section 185.27A1 D1, the East Cocalico Township Stormwater Management Earth Restoration Ordinance related to minimum swale freeboard to allow the conveyance of the storm with no freeboard. This is related to some grading at the rear of the property, essentially, I'll call it glorified lot grading. But we feel in this particular instance, it's adequate to have the swale have conveyance depth, to convey the 100-year storm, and there's no need for additional freeboard or additional capacity beyond that. So that's what that motion is.
Is there anyone representing this plan?
Did not expect anybody.
Okay. And I will make that motion.
I'll second
Is there any questions or comments? All in favor?
it. Aye.
Aye. No opposed, motion carries.
One other item, and then Earth Circle Wood was added in response to a request Derek had to appear before you to discuss that. And maybe just highlight one other thing. You had previously been told at a board of supervisors meeting that the crossings, the Cocalico village overlay development had an interest to appear before you, and you had indicated you would be receptive, but wanted to be respectful of the plan. I just wanted to report to you, I think it's been conveyed through some emails, but more officially report that they have decided not to do that. They are not present tonight, and rather go make some changes to their plan and go back to the planning commission and discuss the project in more detail before appearing before you. So
Okay,
just wanted to update you on that.
thank you.
Great.
So that's all.
Okay,
And over to you to turn over.
so,
Art, and in the back.
question.
Yeah, question for Frank and the board of supervisors. At the last meeting, Frank, you talked about the PennDOT scoping, and you pressed the issue pretty hard about township manager or someone that this group appoints ought to be attending that, because the last thing you want to do is go into a PennDOT scoping meeting and look confused and disarray. And what has the board done about this? I mean, Frank, you made mention that this thing's coming fast and we better be prepared, but we being the township. Where do we stand? I'm gonna ask Frank, but I'm gonna ask the board.
Well, I can maybe provide a little background. When I mentioned it, it was, I think, primarily associated with Hill Road and potential Black Horse.
And the TIF, yeah.
And Black Horse development and some ongoing pre-application discussion with the applicant, and their consultant had submitted information to PennDOT requesting authorization or requesting a response in terms of how to process the project. PennDOT has recently responded and indicated that based on the information submitted, they will require a traffic scoping meeting. And they presented a date. It was not workable with the township transportation consultant, and a new date was picked. But right now, there's a tentative date. They can share it with Tony and I think the chief.
May 3rd. I think that's what it was. Frank.
Yeah, that was a tentative.
I think so.
That's 2 weeks away, bro.
Yeah, I think it was Monday, May 3rd in the afternoon. So typically those meetings are attended either by John Chick, myself, and it is a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, so yes, Doug, to answer your question, we have to close the loop now in terms of who's gonna attend that meeting, now that we know it's tentatively on.
Okay,
Yes,
all right,
okay.
thank you.
Little housekeeping issue, but thank you.
Yes.
We were headed there.
So,
And just to clarify, that meeting is typically where PennDOT, who has control over the access to a state road, identifies to the consultant or the applicant which intersections they will require to be studied as part of that project. The more traffic that the project generates, typically the longer the reach of intersections to be studied. PennDOT does solicit input from the county planning commission and their transportation people as part of it, and the township transportation people. And at that time, other aspects of a project would be discussed related to transportation. The potential involvement with traffic impact fee program and other things. Some of those things are not the primary focus, but quickly become
Right.
necessary to be addressed.
No, we were just having a little discussion here, so that's, tentative date is Monday, May 3rd, that's my easiest day, so I will go. I will be present for that, and I'll be sitting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Okay, we ready? Then, moving on to Earth and Wood.
Thanks. Going off of the discussion from the previous meeting that we had with the traffic impact fees, my attorney and myself did some research on something, and I just want to bring up something that we discovered as it relates to our project specifically, and then have some follow-up on some other stuff. I'm assuming that East Cocalico Township thought is that a municipality may require a traffic impact fee only if the project fits the definition of a new development. This project does not fall under the definition of a new development under both the MPC Article VA and the Township Salvo Chapter 203 of traffic impact fees. I'm going to read that to you real quick. Any commercial, industrial, residential, or other project which involve new construction, enlargement, reconstruction, redevelopment, relocation, or structural alterations, including change of use within the township, and which is expected to generate additional vehicular traffic within the applicable transportation service. So, with that being said, I'm going to ask for a waiver for the traffic impact. We're not generating additional traffic with this bill. We're simply moving laterally across the field. So this is your definition that you've adopted.
Eric, could you read that one more
Sure
time?
can. You want the definition of new development?
Yes.
Okay. Any commercial, industrial, residential, or other project which involves new construction, enlargement, reconstruction, redevelopment, relocation, or structural alterations within the township, and, not or, and, which is expected to generate additional vehicular traffic within the applicable transportation service area of the township. So, okay.
So I'll respond. If I guess I wouldn't be clear that there's what I'm hearing is.
You're right, actually, buddy, you're right, it is. Yes,
Miss Morgan, could you mute? Thank you.
Any land development on a new property is development, it qualifies as land development per the MPC. So the new building is being constructed on a separate property. Also, I'm assuming what he's saying is the existing use that occupies the other structure is essentially now occupying the new structure, and that there's no change between what was in the old structure and what's in the new structure. The old structure remains, and the trips that were generated and
Not necessarily, bro.
well, I'm saying the way the program works, if somebody vacates an existing building, the existing use of that property is credited to that property, and any change in use that is above that would deal with the difference. Similar to EDUs for sewer and water, they're allocated to that property, or they're, and you go to another property, that property retains that. So that's how I would respond to that, but certainly the transportation impact fee program has its own, solicitor, and they can more formally respond. Since reference is made to an attorney, I think it's rather than getting all down in the legal aspect, have the request come in formally and let the Matt Green respond appropriately. I don't know that you.
Do you need me to make a formal request for the waiver based on this?
Go ahead and make a formal, if you would, please do that. send us an email, make a formal request for that.
It's basically what was said here, because we are not increasing traffic.
Correct, exactly the request you're making for the waiver, just go ahead and author that in an email to us for consideration. We will then do, or with due process, we'll get that over to our traffic impact engineer, traffic impact attorney. We'll review that. And we will then, by our next meeting, come back to you with an answer. That's the best we can do right now. Is that fair?
Advocating for the other businesses in East Cocalico, where are we at with all the data that I requested?
That data is starting to trickle in. We're starting to gather all of that information now. So we do have, we have received various documents in terms of the traffic impact fee that has been paid. The questions that I've asked, which were similar to yours. The traffic impact fees that were paid, traffic impact fees, geographically, what area do they pertain to? Okay, what years that those fees were brought in, we have all that spreadsheeted, and that's all come in right. So now the next step is, the question I've asked is, where and when are those funds expected to be utilized, and what projects are they specifically going to be attached to? So the questions you've asked.
And it's not fair to a lot of other places.
So the questions you've asked, we're getting that data current.
It's not quite finalized yet, Jared, but, you know, I have copies of the capital improvement plan for the township. It shows you where, all the way up through, I think, 2034, what the previous planned projects were, and it's multiple projects all up and down 272. With cost estimates and where the traffic impact fee money comes from, which district for those projects. And there is copies of the capital, or the everybody that's paid in traffic impact fee. We have that. We're trying to format that together. I don't have a problem with making copies.
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. But what I would ask is this: I think the better way to do it is to piecemeal this information out. Our goal here is to put this in a complete detailed packet and get this over to you and the businesses.
I just think it needs to be made fair, and it's not fair, and we know that. It's like maybe something.
No, I understood. So
it's got to be fixed to some degree.
And one of our first steps is we're gathering that data together. We're going to culminate it all together in one detailed package, get that over to you, get it over to the businesses. We'll have that all in one reference point so we can all look at that together. So we're in that process now. We've gotten a lot done. We're just about there. Okay?
But the businesses that are looking to move, that aren't increasing traffic, that's, and I don't feel fair.
And I will say this, this is not something that we've let slip. This is something that's being diligently worked on right now with the limited resources we have right now. It's being actively worked. Okay.
There's been significant progress.
Yeah.
We're just not quite there. And RC's point, maybe we should just hold back until we have it all.
Yeah, I prefer to give you a complete package. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to the lawn care 2021 lawn care quotes.
Okay,
You want to go ahead, Jeff?
Where did Eddie go?
Eddie's out having a discussion.
You need him? Yeah.
He's out there, do you mind? Thank you.
Longer, you really start to stretch thin.
Come on.
There's only a few ways out here. Easiest is
Yeah.
helicopter. It's also the most expensive, close to $4,000.
We're put on TV.
So we've got a plane scheduled to come in, because the cost is much more effective. We have to put a landing strip in.
They will attempt to build a runway on a nearby road.
Audio.
Yeah, well, we have Vantage property, we have True Green, and we have,
Total lawn care.
Total Lawn. Yeah.
So, like, what I would suggest, it would be easy Vantage. There's a couple of reasons to do that. Vantage already does our lawns and cuts the park. They're very well versed on our property lines. There have been a number of suggestions that were made to take our properties and beautify them in a better way where there's less weeds and more green grass and less weeds in the actual play area where the kids reside. So he's also a local resident, and with his experience with our grounds and being a local resident. Because when he has, I can tell that he really cares about the property and the property that he manages, and that would be my recommendation. But again, that would be Vantage, and so yeah, that's my suggestion.
Did you feel that all the parks needed an application from your vantage point, or did Harry look as well?
Yeah, I think that there needs to be application because of the control, especially with the 2 to 4 year plan that we're having in place. We just need to right now manage the weeds. There are plans in place. What we're talking about is planting more seed, getting it more lush, weeding out the bad grass so that way when people go, they can really enjoy the grounds. That right grass and the right combinations and stuff. So I believe that applications are needed, and I think it would be appreciated by the local residents keeping it maintained and weed free, especially for those residents near to the park who take care of their lawns. If a lawn or area is not maintained, seeds can blow and create more cost for local residents as well. And I'm sure that they would appreciate that.
Yeah, I echo several of your comments there, Eddie. I talked to Eric from Vantage there today. I asked him, for a detailed list of the materials they use and the chemicals and such. And I was impressed with what he got back to me with. When you look at the 3 quotes, each company had a higher or a lower quote for each different park or treatment. So they all came out about the same place. And, I was impressed with what Vantage uses for material there. I spoke to him, Chief, about your concerns about around the sidewalk and such, and he said they would take the extra care to deal with that as well. My one concern was the islands out on the boulevard and down at Honey Creek Road. We're still dealing with the road crew getting their certifications. Last year it was middle, late May when the application was made. And what was your observation when summer came? Seemed like that one application took care of it pretty well, or did you see something different? Was there anything late came in there or
The only time I saw it, it looked a little rough
early on?
was early on, Jeff.
Yeah.
So, but however, I mean, this is an area you know well, however they applied that, whatever they applied in that area.
Yeah, well, I spoke to Eric about that a little bit. He had listed 3 treatments here, but you know, it was done last year with one with you know, differing material than what he had listed here. So he's able to create a mixture that should get it done with one treatment. But I asked him, can we hold off on that portion of it just to see till next meeting or so, if we were able to get those certifications in? He said that wouldn't be a problem. So, you know, based on that, I would like to see the property here at the township building done as well. Then the chief's concerns and some of the weeds around the perimeter can be taken care of as well. Yeah, so anyway, question now there.
Jeff, just a comment.
Sure.
Someone that goes down a running more than I should. They sprayed, like you said, they sprayed the islands out on Pearl Howard Boulevard.
Yes.
The problem is they waited till the weeds were about a foot high and they sprayed them and they left them standing. It looked like Hokieville out there.
A little late in the game.
Well, yeah, but they could have come back and weed whacked them down. I mean, good Lord. If you're gonna kill them and just let them stand there, that might as well let them grow.
Yeah, yeah. That would have been a crew.
Well, it's our responsibility.
Yeah,
It's a township responsibility.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. I understand.
You asked a question and I'm just.
There you go.
And it is the gateway to Lancaster County.
Once it got sprayed though, it didn't seem like anything else came back later on.
So you're agreeing with.
No, it didn't, but you know, don't let your stuff stand like that in your own yard. This is our yard.
I understand. I understand. You have concerns?
No, I just have, one saw this and wanted to clarify. The total lawn care, the bid for 4170. If I'm not mistaken, that does not include the medians, which the other 2 do, so that would then increase that to higher than the other bid.
Correct. Correct. You know, I had asked both services for material listing, what they were using, because it varies from service to service. You can put a minimum amount of material down and get results with it, or you can put a proper amount down. So
you want to read those new ones, which is highlight. That total on, not include that.
got it in front of me.
Yeah, very quick.
Go ahead.
The total lawn care that does not include the medians is 4,170. The true green, which does include the median strips and the other 4 items, is 4,915. And Vantage would be the total package, including the median strips, for $4,335.40.
That's
That's the old quote, actually.
yeah, that's an old quote.
That's the,
I
that
apologize.
quote didn't exist to the mark.
Yeah.
The new quote, yeah, sorry, I didn't speak out of place, but,
I apologize.
I think you have the new quote.
New quote is $5,183.
Thank you.
And, but that does include the median, does include Stony Point. 2 applications everywhere 5 applications inside the pool fence. You know, they're flea and tick control and grub control and all the good things to make the grass usable there. on pool time.
And I just make a point that chemicals are really important, but there are good chemicals and there are cheap chemicals. And the better the chemicals, the longer it lasts, the more potent it is, and the more environmentally friendly it is typically. So those are some things to take into consideration. And when you have good chemical, the chemical obviously goes up. So I just, the price goes up that much. So I just want to make that point because I take very good care of my lawn. Understand the difference between good service and good chemical and that chemical and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, no, point well taken, Eddie. I agree completely. So, yeah, I would like to award it to Vantage. I would like to pull out the median strips and with the intent on awarding that next meeting. That would give us a final cutoff date about the applicator's license for our guys. I think there's still a chance that maybe we could get there with them, but if not, we can revisit that part of it at that time.
And by pulling that out, you don't think that'll change their bid?
No, and Eric, I had a conversation with him. He said he's fine with the bid on any piece of that remaining the same if it's not the whole bid.
Okay, so you want to make that motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion. We approve Vantage Lawn Care for control of all parks as listed, minus the median strip on Muddy Creek Road and Colonel Howard Boulevard.
And I will second that. Any comments or questions? And then just for clarification's sake also, you reviewed these also, Eddie, so you're comfortable with that also?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a little bit all of them, cross-reference them. So,
No, it helps to have another set of eyes look at it.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Yes, question.
Food for thought, there used to be a company in Wooded called Blue Screen, I believe, and they made environmentally friendly lawn products. They were touchy, we had to put the one at the time they didn't work, but just maybe think about in the future.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for the information. Okay, so we have a motion. I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposition, motion carries.
Yeah, well, thank you. And we will follow up next meeting with the meeting script.
All right, next item on the agenda is the 2021 Reamstown Community Pool rates.
Yes, if I may, I had plans to connect with Mike Hessian with Denver Borough today. Unfortunately, I did not have the opportunity to do that. I think it may be best. I spoke to Eddie briefly in reference to the pool rates. I know there was discussion about making them the same across the board for that sense of partnership with Denver Borough. So if possible, if that could be tabled, then I could reach out to Mr. Hessian and get back to you by the next meeting.
Okay, great.
With that being said, that would have to be either changed or the newsletter temporarily postponed until we get to that.
Agreed. So if we're going to go ahead and make sure we get finalize the pool rates, what I'd like to propose, Jeff, is, and Chief, is let's go ahead and table also the 2021 Township Spring newsletter, because that's actually on page 3 of the newsletter. So we'll just hold off on finalizing the newsletter. And timing wise, we should be fine with doing that. That's not going to be a major impact for another roughly 2 weeks. So, okay. Questions, comments? Thank you. Eddie, thank you again for looking into that also. Appreciate it. I'd like to make an announcement. We did receive 2 resignations from the rec board. One of them from James Grice and one of them from Jason Wellman. So I would like to make the following motion, and that is to accept with regret the resignation of both Jason Wellman and James Grice from the rec board.
Yes, well, both of those gentlemen expressed sorrow that they couldn't spend more time, their work gets in the way of attending meetings. So they backed out to allow somebody else to take their spots so that could be more regularly attending. And so I appreciate their thoughts on what they've done in the past. So you made a motion there. So
Yeah, I made a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. What I'd also like to do, Jeff, is I'll circle back with Lisa. I'd like to send both of them signed by, I guess now it would be the chief, myself, and you. Just go ahead and sign a thank you letter for the time that they put in and that they committed.
Yes.
Because it's quite difficult to get volunteers to commit the time, especially considering the amount of time involved in many cases. So, thank you.
We should probably also make an announcement that we have 2 vacancies there, and if anybody's interested in serving in that capacity, we're all ears.
I think Eddie may already have someone in mind. I don't know if now's the appropriate time for that, but just saying that there is interest expressed.
Yeah, there's been a couple of people that have expressed interest in helping the community out. One is currently who has, should I announce the names or should we just say?
Well, I think the next meeting will have.
There are people that express interest that really, it would be a great addition to the board. And time and they're willing to help out. So I think we're more than welcome to hear who else would like to, have interested in the opportunity. Nobody's been picked out yet, but it's just to RC's point, it's hard to find individuals that are dedicated and willing to sacrifice and invest their time in unpaid positions, which is understandable.
Sure, we always put the invitation out to the community.
Absolutely.
If there's any interest there, we want to hear it.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
yes, so thank you.
Thanks. Okay, moving on to department reports.
Can we skip the road report? Can we get Brett?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Take care.
Sure. So we're gonna reorder some things and go right to the road report.
Brett, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yep.
Yes, go ahead.
Good evening, guys. So the April 2021 Roadmaster report. I'm going to start with Roadmaster has begun contacting contractors to get updated quotes on bathroom and salt shed projects at our maintenance shed that have been kind of pushed off. I will update the board on pricing at the next Board of Supervisors meeting. Roadmaster is waiting for a few quotes to get back, and I'm actually have 2 meetings set up next week with 2 contractors for the bathroom to get a quote on that as well. Repairing signs as needed, generating a list of signs that need fixed, straightened, or updated. Replace stop sign at South Muddy Creek Road at North Reading Road. Post was hit and bent over. Roadmaster reordered basically new street name signs for there as they were not on the location when we replaced the sign. Replaced stop sign at Rosemont Drive and Cherry Lane. Post and was bent and hit over. Fixed sign on Weaver Road. This curved sign was hit and reported by police department. Next I have street sweeping is on the schedule from Tuesday to Friday this week. It's actually in progress. The road crew provided a truck and a driver to help with this process, as well as the other my other 2 crew members kind of moving signs around and given proper notice as well in reference to that. The 2021 road improvement projects were approved at the Board of Supervisors meeting on March 4th. have been in contact with the engineer to figure out the next steps in this process, as well as keeping up to date in order to get an idea when this work will be done and a tentative date. I've had a crew member in the past go out and count all utilities on these projected paving projects. This will help with figuring out numbers of risers needed possibly for this job, so we don't run into any issues as far as that. And I also been in contact with the water and sewer department to give updates on these projects as well. As soon as I get updates, I pass this along to them so they can change any, scheduling issue or anything like that that they need to. They are currently inspecting all utility in these areas as well, making any necessary repairs needed. Next big bullet item I have is the pool season 2021. I've been in constant contact with the Parks and Rec Board to come up with a plan and work on an SOP for the pool. Roadmaster has had conversations with the previous pool manager in reference to and how things were done in the past. Contact names, numbers, just useful information that we'll have and how our pool kind of operates and what we use for our pool, and make any necessary changes moving forward. I've been in contact with other surrounding pool committees, as well as a couple local, just athletic areas that have their own pool to see about who they use and what they do as far as testing their water. Roadmaster was in a pool webinar workshop April 13th and April 14th. Will help as much as I can with this pool in the event of passing exams. Which is, I have actually just scheduled my core test, my pesticide spray, and my pool exam for June 4th at 9 a.m. in Lancaster location through the state. And also scheduled a core and pesticide test and test for a crew member as well for the same date at the same location. Road crew has done some work at the office and pool or bathroom at the pool location. Road crew has taken care of a leak that was on the roof previously directed by the previous pool manager. There was a seal on top of the one speaker box on top of the roof that needed resealed. And actually this was creating a water issue inside the office, inside the one light, and that's now taken care of. Road crew has replaced a vent fan in the men's bathroom as it was not working. Same thing previously stated by the previous pool manager that was talked about in the fall. And he advised me that I could take care of it in the spring once obviously the temperatures and were better. The crew member will be taking off the pool cover on Wednesday, April 21st, 2021, followed by a meeting to discuss pool operations at 1 p.m. that same day. Dan, the pool man, will be arriving around 10 o'clock that morning to get this pool up and running, testing lines and anything ordered to make any adjustments necessary, as well as the previous pool manager as well to give any insight. He has offered his time to give any insight on what we can use to come up with SOPs and anything that's useful information on that. Eddie, are you available to add anything to that if you're sitting in there?
Yeah, I'm here. So great summary. Out it's live. So the nice thing about this is that the pool committee is actually meeting that day as well later on in the evening. So we're going to be able to take all the information that we have here, apply to what we're doing. I think then we're going to reach out to you so that we can commence and we can talk to Denver to make sure that we're coinciding with the events that they're doing and then versus what we would like to do, and that we can cross advertise and create more awareness and excitement for the special events. Yes, the prior pool master is donating his time. We're moving the computer to the office. We're going to look at SOPs. We're going to print everything out and basically kind of combine everything that we have into one. Dan the poolman offered to assist and help us as we transition and while the road crew master gets certified and approved and all that. So we have him as a back. Also, the Effort Rec Center will also be joining us, because they offer assistance as we're getting certified. So we have a couple options there. So if Ben Pullman, for whatever reason, is stuck at a job, we have the rec center. And so we're just trying to develop as many synergies as possible to kind of take the load off the other during this transition period. So options are good. And we're just very grateful for the community coming together and really trying to sort this out so that we can open on time, which we're planning on doing that. We don't see any issues doing that. And we're just super excited about it. So we're looking forward to a great 2021 full season.
All right. I'm good to move on then?
Yeah, go ahead, Brett.
Sorry. Continuing with my list here, Tuesday, March 23rd, road crew was asked to come into the office to move furniture around for the new HR office. Once we got into moving furniture, it was decided to replace the flooring in the new HR office. Road crew began ripping out old flooring and helping order new flooring from Lowe's to install when available for pickup. That was the 23rd. On the 25th and 26th of March, the road crew installed new laminate flooring in the new HR office, which only made sense to, work on the floor with getting some of the new desks and moving some stuff to make it a lot nicer in there for the HR and for the office personnel. Road crew, once they got done with the floor, it was then talked about before the new furniture came in. We ended up painting the entire office and put up new trim and to get ready for the new furniture that was delivered and installed. Week of April 5th, 2021, the road crew was sent out crack sealing. List was provided by Roadmaster. I was notified by the crew that week that we were on our last supply or skid of the crack sealing product that we use for our crack sealing machine. I've spoken with a vendor that we have used in the past and we get our supplies from, and the product needing for our equipment is $2,100 for one skid of supply. I'm asking if I can get approval to purchase this, as a crack sealing was very limited in fall of 2020 due to COVID. So crack sealing will continue in the very near future to get areas caught back up, as well as, again, on a hopefully a normal basis in the fall of 2021. The vendor that we used and I contacted was Sealmaster, and I just wanted to let you know that I've also reached out to them once I got the pricing for it to make sure that there wouldn't be any issues putting this product down with any upcoming paving projects or milling projects in the future. So I just wanted to kind of basically see about possibly getting approval for that skid, so I have a supply moving forward, and basically we have the room for the skid at our shop, and also that it will be available to use when we need it.
Right, Sealmaster is who we have used in the past, right?
Yes. Yep, and I did confirm that with the crew, and that's who I contacted. And as soon as I called them and told him who I was from, he brought it right up on basically his system and told me what product and everything that we would use for our machine.
Okay. So you need a motion for that?
Yeah, if I could to order that supply, yes.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. You gotta keep some inventory around, or else, especially these days, some things you try and get in, you can't always get it right away. So, yeah, I'll make a motion to approve purchase of a skid of the material for the $2,100.
And I will second that. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye.
All right.
No opposed, motion carries.
Moving on with my list, Monday, April 12th, 2021, Roadmaster sat in on a common parking issues webinar under the LTAP website. kind of another action item that I wanted to bring up tonight. Roadmaster was given an action item to drive around the township with the township manager and the assistant manager to generate list of roads to do an analysis for East Calico Township roads. The plan was to work on a 3 to 5 year plan moving forward with road projects without the help of an engineer. At this time, what is expected, or how should I handle this moving forward with no longer a manager or assistant manager available, who is to be included in this effort to put this plan together? I just wanted to get some insight from the board as far as how you guys want me to handle that.
Okay, Brett.
Good question, Brad.
Excellent question. This is something we need to do. We discussed it many times in the past. Okay. It's not something we should let slip. So, Brett, give me some advice here in terms of the feasibility of doing this. Okay. I can go out with you and take a drive and look at these roads. Okay. You and I can come up with a list of the 3 to 5 year plan over what these roads look like. Then Jeff could go out independently with you or with me. I'm sorry, with you or with one of the other road crew, look at our list and you guys can do a comparison. So we have another set of eyes taking a look at that. We can come back here and then discuss it.
Yeah, that sounds like a very logical plan, and I like it. I think it gives the more eyes and the more we work together and kind of come up with different ideas, we should be able to hash out a list moving forward.
Okay, so here's what we'll do. You let me know and propose some dates for me. Because that's probably going to take us a full morning or a full afternoon, correct?
Yeah, I would think that's gonna be a good half a day type thing, yes.
Yeah, and then, yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, June's laughing.
All
right, Brent, I'm gonna tell my wife and my partner, I'm not showing up for 3 days. We'll get it banged out in 3 days.
I don't want to tell you 2 hours, RC, and then it turns out 6. That's not what.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, you let me know, you propose a time schedule that you think is reasonable, because you know that much better than I do, and we'll make it work, okay?
Yep, that sounds like a plan. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then when we're done, the action item will be, when we're done, then we'll get Jeff to go out, maybe with one of your other guys, take a look at our list, they come up with their own list and see what they got, and then we can come talk about it publicly.
Very good.
And we'll have to talk about it third quarter,
Correct, yeah, so,
Yes.
all right?
Yep, sounds like a plan. All right,
Hold
moving.
on, Brett, we have one question in the room,
Just a
sorry.
question, you need no disrespect to you when you tell me, what do you know about roads other than driving them? Seriously.
No,
How are you gonna tell if a road's in need of repair? Other than things falling through the
Doug,
facilities.
it's a great question. What we had talked about originally was doing a preliminary look by us and the roadmaster, at least getting an initial view. Once we have that, and we think that these are the roads that will probably be the most needed for repairs in the future, we then pass that off to our engineers to take a look at it and let them look at it and finalize what that looks like. It was an initial pass, was the intent. Because we got to start somewhere.
I understand, but usually you're paying engineers to do that, so that's fine.
Well, yeah, we saw what the estimate was on
Well,
that study.
hey,
No, I'm with you. I agree.
You guys are gonna be spinning your wheels for how many days, and, you know, again, no disrespect, but
And RC, I'd like to add to that. I just out of curiosity, is it, I know obviously the cost of two to kind of do that, but they're going to be a lot quicker, and they're basically going to use our advice kind of. I mean, is it feasible to maybe bring Mike in from R2 and have him and I drive around for a day or two and just basically look at our roads? Is it, can we pay per hour based on that? I mean, rather
Yeah,
than,
but-
I'm just trying to come up with, even something, another idea.
No, but Brett, we used to do the road, from my understanding, the road tours were done in the past. Okay. And in terms of, again, the idea here is we're not finalizing what the list is.
Absolutely.
The idea here is at $202 an hour for the engineer.
Yep.
It's to try to save some money for the community and try to do an initial pass. That's the whole intent.
Yep.
And
And
when we did the road tours, the engineer was along. The engineer was along when we did those Saturday road tours. It was a roadmaster, supervisor, and an engineer, and the land planning engineer, transportation engineer, and the land planning engineer. We all rented a van and we toured every road in this township. But, you guys are in charge now, I'm just saying.
No, Doug, I was not aware of it. And that's interesting.
Yeah, that's very good information.
I'll tell you what, Brett, let's put a hold on that for a minute. Let's put a hold on that for another meeting or so. Because that's new information, Doug. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, but you can't do it anymore because it's a sunshine violation. You can't put the 3 supervisors in the van. There was a person in this building who complained about it and made it become a public meeting. And that was the end of that because of one person.
I have a suggestion.
Yes.
How about all the people that are taking signs, or pictures of the signs, they're driving a lot of roads, so they can take, they can be more than happy to do it for free, at least they're doing something. Maybe you can reach out to them and ask them if they.
They're not professionals either.
All right, Brett, let's table that one and throw that on the act, for the next meeting.
Okay, very good. Yep. All right, couple more.
One more question. I'm sorry, Brett, one more
Sorry,
question.
I can't see, sorry.
Okay.
Can you use a drone? You have to go out. Could you rent one?
You would have to pay a professional group to do that. The person that's flying a drone has to be FAA certified, and it gets into a whole big gamut.
And I don't know that you're going to see the level of detail that you're gonna need to see.
That's a good thought, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right,
And I have one question for him before he's done.
okay. So go ahead, Brett.
Okay, continuing here. Basketball court at Reamstown Park. This was approved at the Board of Supervisors meeting last meeting for Lines and Hall to do this paving work. After speaking with project manager, they're saying 3.5 to 4 months out for the work to get done based on their schedule. However, there is a 50-50 chance to get this work done by Memorial Day, which would put their right basically the week before Memorial Day, as long as weather permits it and they have an opening in their schedule. With that being said, I would like the road crew to take on the work of tearing out the existing blacktop. The existing blacktop on this project. Roadmaster will be in constant contact with project manager to get more of an attentive date to do this work. So this work will be done in time for the paving to get done when schedule permits it. The road crew will use equipment and a truck or two to haul away the existing blacktop. This will save the township money in the long run. Lines and Hall will then come in and regrade the stone and pave the project and work as stated in the quote. And again, if Eddie has anything to add to this, that would be great. If Eddie's in the room.
Still here.
He's here.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You've already watched the last part, I apologize.
The basketball.
Oh, yeah, thank you, I appreciate that. So yeah, I wasn't listening, so I apologize, so these repeating. So we're on track to have it done before Memorial Day, which is awesome. So we're hoping that is the case. If it's not the case, then we'll have to we'll get pushed back. And then we'll have to figure out, do we reevaluate it? Because unfortunately it took a little bit too long for us to get bids in. So things are filling up. That's kind of where we're at this point.
Okay, let me ask this question.
Sure.
Considering the change in the scope of work here, does this have to be rebid?
No, I don't think so. I think if Lines and Hall, like, when we first saw the Lines and Hall quote that we initially spoke about, the 27,000, it was everything. It was the removal, the stone, the replace, the lining, all that stuff.
RC, I had talked to the project manager on this project and kind of gave him an kind of idea, because he had questioned me, well, me and Eddie at the same time, as far as on the initial walkthrough, if we would possibly be able to dig it out, which will kind of help with their schedule.
Yeah, and that was another thing, Jeff, to your point, try to save some coin on the end. If it's delayed, like if you're able to like get it done before Memorial Day, the juice is worth the squeeze in our opinion, our review. If it's going to be delayed, I think at that point, we would probably want to consider using township muscle and the ability to, depending on how late it's going to be, we have to figure out the time on this, right? Because asphalt, you can only work when it's nice outside, you can't work when it's raining, right? So the weather's going to be a big dictator on whether this gets done on time, that it continues to spritz and not pour in April. So that way we can have it ready for the upcoming season.
I think we were, this is why I think compromise. Because it's a major change in the scope.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, Brett, here's what we're gonna do with this one for now. I want to check with Tom on this, our solicitor.
Okay. As
This
far
is
as
the way I read this, this is a significant change in the scope. And I know we have a contract with them, but it's a large change.
Yep. Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great. Like I said, that was the initial quote was kind of put together with, not really having a schedule behind it. And then once, and I didn't want to be able to say if we could do the work ourselves, depending on, what their schedule showed. But if they're going to be 3.5, 4 months out, I can make sure, and we should be able to get that work done as far as in the township and try to save money in reference to that quote.
Right. But again, it's still a significant change in the scope of work.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, I'll take that action item. I'll check with Tom.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, two last things here.
So just so for clarification purposes, what are you doing? Because I'm kind of involved in this.
Okay, so there's a significant change in the scope of work then, the way the Lions and Hall contract, the way we're doing this and the way you're proposing to do it.
Okay, so how would be proposed? Just maybe that's what I'm missing.
Eddie, I had informed them about possibly having the road crew dig out the blacktop to try to save the township money as far as the dig out process.
In the event that they're not able to do it before Memorial Day, right?
What's that?
In the event that they're not able to finish and complete the project before Memorial Day, is that correct?
Right. But we
I just want to make sure we're on the same page on that. So in the event that they're not able to do it before Memorial Day, it makes sense to rescope it out and basically rebid it. I agree. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm good to move forward.
Yes.
Sorry. Last two things here. I just wanted to bring up the corner of the intersection of Lausch Road and Reamstown Road. I know this has been an issue for a while. I'd like to try to come up with a plan to eliminate or lessen the frequency of these posts of this corner being hit on a bi-weekly, almost a weekly basis. I have talked to the homeowner, actually 2 homeowners right at that intersection. It's like I said, it's every week pretty much that I'm getting a call to have my crew go out and fix the wooden post there. I have researched the road crew has researched some other options as far as the wooden posts that are there, some breakaway systems that every time a truck runs over it, basically it pops right back up. Or there is a system that Denver Borough uses, which is a bell type system. So I'm kind of open to possibly changing something at that intersection to just make the homeowner and the residents a little happier, plus possibly eliminate some of that damage in their yard or on the property of this of, the property on this corner of this intersection. I would like to schedule a meeting, possibly out on site with the roadmaster, zoning officer, homeowner, engineer, and possibly the police chief to see if we can come up with somewhat of a plan to just to make it just better for everybody that's involved at this location in the future.
The bell system deployment is 4th and Main, Denver, and it works.
Yeah. Yep.
Very well. I witnessed it work.
You're right, that bell works. They get
Bumps
stuck on
right
that
out.
one time, they never come back here.
Or
Because they
if
gotta
they
get a
do
record to
go
get
up
them off.
and they hit the bell a certain way, it pops the trailer back out.
It wedges between their panels in the back, and they ain't moving, they're done.
Now I did, I did reach out to Denver Borough to see about who they got that bell system from. And, it was I forget the exact location, but it was roughly around $3,000 for that one bell that they have at that corner. But also with that being said, anything that we change on that corner with the homeowner, even the posts that we have at that corner are within, on basically in the private property there and outside of our right of way at that location.
Okay.
So that's why, included, and I just wanted everybody to be on the same page, and that's why I'd like to possibly schedule a meeting here pretty soon to come up with something to help at that location.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yep. Okay.
Last thing I have is my COVID procedures. This will remain in place until the end of May and be reevaluated at that time, as numbers seem to be up and down on a daily basis. However, I'd like to get the input from the board on if we should stop taking trucks home now that the winter season is complete. I could still we could still possibly bring our personal trucks to the shops in the morning, but then designate a pickup to each employee or at the shop that work day for the use for the daily work that is needed. There's that route, we can split up, still bring personal trucks to the shop, but basically designate that same pickup to the crew. Once they get there, they basically take that truck. Or I didn't know, the thoughts on coworkers kind of riding together, but masks being mandatory at all times inside the truck or within 6 feet. So I just wanted to basically get the view from the board on possible changes to what is in place.
Okay, so just for clarification then, and just for transparency for the public. So again, your guys were taking the trucks home in the winter time because we wanted to keep them separated during the height of this.
Yeah,
So we didn't lose road crew at a time when we could end up having some severe snowstorms.
So RC, a little bit to add to that is each one of the guys had basically a truck that they were taking home during the winter time that were stocked with pretty much all the PPE they needed, and any jobs that were being done, they had these pickups stocked and pretty much were driving by themselves in those trucks during the winter time too, like you just stated, to try to keep everybody in and available for the winter time.
Right. So I think, Jeff, what do you think? I think at this point, there's no need for them to be taking them home at this point.
Okay.
It was really in case we got some severe snow and we were down half our road crew or 2/3 of it. Okay.
Yep.
So at this point, then I think what we'd be looking to do is, as the roadmaster, you make a proposal to us then, okay? About what you want to do for the next step in terms of, now that you know that, what procedure do you want to put in place?
Okay, so basically an updated procedure or revised the procedure of what I have in place right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Jeff?
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes, absolutely. And that's all I have for my report. Sorry, guys, it was a little longer tonight, but I just wanted to get some things kind of straightened out here.
okay. Any questions for the roadmaster? Jim?
Can we get an update on the replacement of the East Cocalico signs as you enter the town? Thank you.
Did you hear that, Brett?
The East Cocalico Township signs?
Yes, just an update on where we are with those.
They are all posted. All the new ones were ordered and they are all changed out and all posted at the, I believe there's 25 or 26 locations that we had changed out and put the new ones up. And they do on the bottom of those same signs say solicitation by permit only on the bottom of those signs.
Jim, did we miss a couple?
As you enter East Cocalico Township.
Yep.
on 97 northbound from Adamstown, the sign says past Cocalico Township. Somebody erased part of the E, and it's still the old sign.
On, is that, you said that's on 897 on the state road?
Right, northbound.
Okay, I will take a look at that tomorrow. Like I said, I was given a list to, and had noticed, basically gave a list to a crew member and had them changed out. I will make a note to go check that out tomorrow and I will get that switched out as quickly as I can.
Thank you.
You're saying that's
Thank
down
you,
by
Jim.
the sewer plant there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a state road. That's a state sign.
Right.
Yeah, it's a state road. but
That's
it's
not
our-
ours to change.
It's not our road. That's not, is that our?
It's a state road, but
That's
it's.
PennDOT sign.
Yeah, it's our sign, our response, it's our sign, our responsibility.
I think Dan might be saying. So they can look at that, right?
Yeah, you can take a look at it, Fred.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it and I'm not, that, to see if that's, our putting up or if the state puts that sign up.
Okay.
I will get a, give an update at the next Board of Supervisors meeting for that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, moving on to the police department report.
I will make this brief, to the length of the meeting. So officers had the incident in the 100 block North Reamstown Road on Easter Sunday where an individual fired a shot from a second floor window in the direction of one of our patrol cars. The officers were successful in telling the individual to exit the home. He did and was taken into custody. Detective and detective sergeant came in and the individual was charged with burglary, criminal trespass, and recklessly endangering another person. He is currently, the last I knew, in Lancaster County Prison in lieu of bail. Officer Rachel Odenwald completed her field training program and is currently assigned to the evening shift on patrol. And now she continues through her 1-year probationary period, which is standard. Officer Fisher and Officer Stauffer completed a seatbelt safety check at the high school on March 26th. Basically, they stand, watch the students, parents, faculty, whoever may be exiting the parking lot. They count the number of seatbelts being worn, then they do education and recount at a later time and hopefully have increased the seatbelt usage. I do know that when I did that previously, the numbers were very good at Cocalico, so I hope that continued. I haven't gotten the details exactly from Officer Fisher, but a speed detail through the grant was conducted on Good Friday, April 2nd, in the 100 block of North Reamstown Road. And this is usually heavily traveled that day due to Green Dragon traffic. A total of 15 citations were issued during that detail for speeding. We were in the process of the corporal promotional test. 4 officers or senior officers took part in the written test process, and we will continue through the process in the next few weeks. And there were, I'm not going to go through all the numbers, but there were 5 DUI arrests in March in East Cocalico and 2 DUI crashes. So kept it brief. That's okay.
Any questions for the chief? Okay. Moving on, zoning officer report, we're going to table that one until the next meeting. Moving on to MS4 stormwater report. Ken's in the other room. Ken.
Hello, Ken.
There he goes. Enter stage left.
Yes, the 2 things that have been going on for the community development block grant application, been working on quite a while, there are a lot of parts of that. That was completed and emailed digital copy was emailed down to the Lancaster today, but they also want a hard copy on paper as well. We're delivering down there tomorrow. Since you can't trust the post office to do that these days. The other thing is the project on Stony Run, the Stream Bank project. As soon as Brett's available, we're gonna try to get the work done. I received the plants that we're gonna be planting out there in the live state nursery. I have those in my backyard, so I can keep watering them. Those will be put in after the stream bank work is completed.
You had to pot all those yourself, is that? was that the way?
Some of them I did, some of them I didn't. The ones that were dormant, I left together, just, they were air root plants, I put soil around them, water. The ones that are starting to have leaves pop out, those will need to be potted individually.
Questions? So I have a couple questions. I'm not going to be a reader. I did basically the park one and got to familiarize myself with a lot of all the grounds. And so what was the purpose of planting 150 trees by Bishop Creek Park?
Those are going to be allowed to grow up so that area becomes wooded, which is good for controlling runoff and also will need the wind count of that almost acre of ground back there.
Okay. And then the green dots on the trees, are they planning to be taken down?
Green dots on trees.
There's green dots on the, so I think that it's in the middle of the thing. It's not.
I'm not aware of what they are.
Okay, so it might just be someone just spray painting. When I went around, I saw green dots and those green dots.
There are some trees there. There's still some dead white ashes there that might be are a hazard. They're too big and
I'm just
plus some power lines for the road crew to take down.
Okay.
So those will have to be done by a tree service.
Okay, thank you for clarification.
Okay. Any other questions? Ken? All right. Thank you, Ken. Moving on to the financial administrator's report. Is Judy on?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Good evening. Okay, so as promised, I have balance sheets and budget comparison reports for each of the funds. Starting with the general fund, we have $1,479,000 in cash. We have $806,000 in investments. And at March 31st, our fund balance is $2,138,000. It dropped a little bit from the end of last year because of cash flow, but now the property tax receipts are starting to come in. And we should see that go back up to the levels they were before. I didn't, going on to the budget comparison report for the general fund, I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. The local services tax is trending a little bit higher. It should be at about 33% collections and we're at 39% collections. So hopefully that will continue to trend that way and we'll be over budget on that line. That's a line we were concerned about last year. Nothing else in the general fund really struck me as noteworthy. So if you don't have any questions, I'll move on to the other funds.
Yes, please.
Okay. So again, property taxes are starting to come in. So we have some revenues in the light fund and in the hydrant fund. Moving on to the recreation fund. We did pay some bills out of there for the park equipment. And I want you to be aware that the expenses were charged to the recreation fund, but the cash came out of the general fund. And at some point we will have to do a reimbursement. We did that because that money is at Univest. And of course we need 3 signatures on those withdrawals. So that's what's holding that reimbursement up at this point, but I am keeping track of it and we certainly will make that reimbursement in a few months. So right now the fund balance in the recreation fund is 215,120. And then I also have the budget comparison. We are over budget on the capital purchase at Stony Point. So probably at the next meeting, I'll propose a motion to use some of the fund balance to cover that shortfall in the budget there. On to the liquid fuels fund. In April, we did receive our yearly allocation, and that came in $10,000 over our estimate. I'm cautiously optimistic about that because, of course, we know we're going to be using most of our fund balance for projects this year. We ended 2020 with a $210,000 fund balance, but by the end of this year, it will probably fall to about $30,000 or $40,000 with the projects that we're expecting to complete. The traffic impact fund, the fund balance in that stands right now at $735,000, and there were some expenses paid out of that fund for engineering and solicitor costs. Again, these expenses were paid out of the general fund and they will have to be reimbursed. And I'll make that proposal in a later month. Capital Reserve Fund. The fund balance in the Capital Reserve Fund is $1,468,000. And I also have the budget comparison statement for you. The expense for the radios was actually a 2020 expense, but the bill came in 2021. That's why it wasn't budgeted. So I wanted to make you aware of that. And also in the Capital Reserve Fund, I have a resolution to propose for your acceptance. This is a resolution authorizing a supplemental appropriation to the 2021 fiscal year capital reserve budget. This is to use $130,000 of capital reserve fund balance to cover the expense for the Rose Hill development. We had intended to do, I think it was a chip and fog seal, and we changed to doing a complete resurfacing, and the additional cost will be $130,000. So I'm asking for a motion to approve that addition to the budget.
Okay. And I will make that motion. Do I have a second?
Yeah, so second.
Any comments or questions? Yes.
Can I ask you a question just on the traffic impact?
Sure.
I just have a question. We haven't had any kind of meetings or anything. I can't remember when we had our last meeting, so I'm just wondering why that was paid out. Why there's three bills,
Can you hear that, Judy?
to the Becker and one to the two. I'm just wondering.
Sometimes there's a delay in them getting bills out.
That's a real big delay.
Yeah.
A real big one.
Yeah.
Last year sometime, maybe.
Wasn't there a meeting in January this year? Traffic impact meeting, no?
Yeah.
Oh, on a Zoom maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was one. I believe there was one.
I thought there was one in January, middle of January.
What we can do for you is we'll get you exactly what were the dates
No,
on
it's
those.
okay, I just didn't remember that, but so that's what they're doing.
That's what the fees are for.
And it goes,
To attend those meetings.
it totals over $1,000.
It's the engineers. Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed, motion carries.
Okay, and unless you have any questions, that's all I have.
Any questions for Judy at this point? None. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. moving on to the list of bills, yes.
Okay, in the general fund, we have $113,345.69. Is there any questions on the bills as presented? Yes, sir.
Yes, on the Eckert Siemens Sharon in the lot,
Yes.
$2,244. That's a legal firm. We found on what, that we spent $2,200 in legal firm.
We had harassment training on 3 separate occasions. That took an hour and a half each time at $255 an hour. So that added up to a chunk of it. And there was other associated time with that. If you'd like to see a copy of the bill, I got it.
I don't need it right now. What, sexual harassment training?
Yes.
Okay, I won't ask any
Anything else?
No.
Anybody else? Okay, I make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
And I will second that. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, motion carries.
And I do have a copy of it.
All right, thanks. I'll get it after you.
Yep, no problem.
Okay. Moving on to old business. The Fire and Emergency Services Institute proposal for Jeremy Orzog. And Jeff, you were spearheading that. You want to?
Well, I think at this point, we probably should be getting some of our other house in order, put that on hold for a while. Until we have some other situations solidified. That would be my recommendation.
So we'll table that one for now.
You know, I always encourage the leadership in all fire companies, anytime you gentlemen want to get together and talk about issues, please do. We totally support your efforts. But you know, right now we're probably a little small with trying to keep up with where we need to be.
So we'll go ahead and table that.
Yes.
I'll speak. The next item is North Williamstown Road and Colonel Howard Boulevard. Tony had that action item. I'll go ahead and table that one for now. That was the street lighting. So we'll table that for the next meeting. The rec board discussions, I think we addressed those.
Yeah, I just want to add, the Stony Point Park, playground, where everything was signed, checks were cut, they were sent. Officer Kathleen and I, Chief Kathleen and I were able to speak with the project manager. We have anticipated date of installation, which is probably the first or second week in May.
Correct.
Which is great. And so we're going to get that in before the summer, so that way we can, so the kids can benefit and enjoy the park. There will be some things that we will need from the road crew as far as killing the grass, and we work with Eric from that perspective to prep the field. We will need to go out and figure out where we want to center the park. That's something that the Park and Rec boards will be discussing, because we are adding those plastic perimeters in order to keep the mulch inside and keep the grounds in somewhat of in a very nice way. So that just obviously needs to be discussed, and we need to figure that out. But I just want to make sure that provided everyone understands where we're at on that, and they just did really great to work with. So we're excited. We're excited to do that.
Is the installation crew actually coming from Florida with that, or?
No, they're actually coming from Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they're gonna, all the equipment's gonna be delivered to their facility, and then they're gonna bring everything up. It's about a 1 to 2 day install, so it's not gonna be too bad. And so, yeah, we're gonna get all the details. There's a punch list and things that we need to provide the township with. But it wasn't a priority as related to like next steps right now, but it's just a matter of punch list, do you have this, do you have that, or also basically. We'll be working with you guys, the board of supervisors, to make sure and figure out the best way, economical way to the dumpster for all the packaging and all that stuff, right? So that's obviously something to take into consideration as a high level item, but.
Well, I heard all that stuff was coming your direction.
You know what, I'm a big proponent of recycling, so you're more than welcome to put it there, and I'll piece it out. It's all good.
Okay.
Get back to forklift on the front lawn.
Yeah, absolutely, whatever it takes.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah. Let me, I'll tell you what, let's move on to, new business, just a couple of quick things here. One of the things, I wanted to bring up was, Doug, you had asked a question last time and, I did a little, I was right, I did a little digging. At $1,100 for the GASB report for 2020, okay? That was specifically tied to GASB was the requirement on GASB 68 that we had to do for the police pension report.
Okay,
Okay, so it was tied to that.
so it wasn't for the formal audit, but we got out of the gas.
Correct,
Okay.
correct, because we're on a cash basis, not a accrual basis. Correct, yes, sir. So the one thing I did want to mention though is I think what's significant about that is we did get the report from the East Cocalico Township Police Pension Plan. This is the report that is dated January 1st of 2020 through and ending on December 31st of 2020. So this is the GASB 68 report. Based on the GASB 68 report, I want to notify the community. We are now at a total pension funding for the police pension of 95.8% of that pension, which is phenomenal.
It's very good.
The total pension liabilities right now are $8,947,333. The fiduciary net position is $8,569,016. And our net pension liability, the delta, is $378,317. I do want to send a shout out to, and I want to really, really thank these people because I know they have literally combined probably 1,000 hours in this. And this was the pension committee meeting that was put together. And that pension committee was Jill Corden, Officer Steve Walsh, Officer Roger Kreischer, Chief Kepley, myself, Elizabeth Dorneman, former township manager Scott Russell. And I want to put a shout out to Doug Mackley and to Alan Fry for helping us through this. But the move to Gerard and the current actuarial assumptions that we have in place and the way we have now managed that plan, we're very, very pleased with it. So just a real shout out to that group of people because the amount of time that they have in the background, Doug, 3 years ago, I think, if my memory serves me correctly,
Something like that.
is pretty incredible. So, okay, moving on.
Just as an aside there, where were those percentage figures? You go back a year. And you don't have them, but you have an idea.
20 points higher.
20 lower.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah, they were lower, we're 20 higher now, they were like 77.
I thought we were in the high 70s.
Yeah, we started at
76, 78%, yeah, somewhere in that range.
That was a lot of ground made up there.
Oh, yeah.
In a year.
A lot of time in there. Okay. Next thing is, what I'd like to do at this point is, I've rolled this into the new business, is the discussions for Jeff and I in terms of, in full disclosure for the community, in terms of what do we do now with our vacant supervisor position in terms of filling Alan's seat through the end of the year. Okay, so we did something this year, again, to recap quickly, what we did this year is, well, what we did, I don't even know if it was done in the past, is we put out a request to the community for anyone that would be interested, because again, it's your community, it's our community, to see where we could get some help. So we did get 4 candidates that came in. The 4 candidates that came in, what we did was we interviewed them and had discussions with them completely separately, completely independently. So I don't know where Jeff is. I'm not sure where I am. So what I'd like to do at this point is probably start with you, Jeff, in terms of.
You know, reiterating what you had said there, RC, yeah, we had 4 applicants that sent interest in. We each individually contacted them. I had phone conversations as well as in-person conversations with each one. I'd like to thank them all 4 of these gentlemen for stepping up. You know, I think it's a monumental task to come in and volunteer in this way to help us out through the end of the year, and I appreciate the interest. I approached it that I put a list of topics together that are relevant in the community right now. I had a list of 8 or 9 issues, starting out with traffic impact fee. There's a lot of conversation about that currently. The LERTA program will sunset here later this year in October. It will have to be a board decision whether that continues and in what form it will continue. So whoever's on the board will be part of that process as well. I talked about Reamstown Pool, that's always in the mix. I talked about fire companies. We're always dealing with them in one way or the other. It's a relevant board issue. And it was good conversations from everybody. I'm impressed with some of the talent we have in the community here, and you know, I was looking for the person that, you know, fills our needs right now. You know, we are a board currently without a manager. We're getting a lot of help from the chief of police, who thank you, chief, for stepping up and doing all that you do. You're spending a lot of time, I noticed on a daily basis, trying to help us out here. But you know, that situation will have to change. So you know, who's going to be the right person to fit our board, complement our board, bring experience and knowledge. And you know, I struggled with this, and you know, I don't know about you, RC, but it's a little bit of a challenge. It's easy to go to the polling place and vote for somebody, and you walk out and thousands of other people do it too. But this basically comes down to us. So, you know, giving it a lot of thought, and you know, I'd like to throw my vote towards Craig Ingersoll. He stepped up. He put his name in the hat, and you know, I think he brings a lot of experience to the position. You know, he's been a township manager in the past, and not that I have the expectation, and that was part of the conversation. He's not looking for the job, and I well understand that, but just the knowledge and experience you bring to the plate as it pertains to that, I think is relevant to us at this point, being we are managerless at this point. So you know, that's my thought. And you know, I'm not sure where you are on all this, but,
So it's kind of interesting. We came at it from different angles. Completely different angles. So I came at it from the perspective of when I talked to the 4 candidates. I echo what Jeff said. Some of the qualifications of these individuals is wow. It's beyond impressive when you look at these resumes. But I came at it from when I talked to them, came at it from the perspective of, because I'm new at this, and this is my first term ever, this is my 4th year. I came at it from the perspective of asking the individuals, my concerns were, do they truly understand the time commitment involved? Do they truly understand the responsibility levels involved? Do they truly understand the challenges that come with this chair? And what I've come to learn in terms of, Doug, I think you said it best. I heard you say it a number of times when I was starting out. What was it? You can't please everybody all the time, but I forget what it is.
All of them some of the time, just like Abe said. I'll make all of you happy sometimes, some of you happy all the time. I'm never gonna make all of you happy all the time.
Exactly. So, wow, were you correct? So, I approached it from that aspect. I approached it from the aspect of what's the skill set to help us out in this time with what's going on. And the responsibility, the time commitment, who's aware of the challenges, because we, again, we're all in this together, we're a community. We've got a vacant chair here, we've got a vacant township manager position. The staff's doing a phenomenal job of stepping up. They're compartmentalizing extremely well. They're working together extremely well. So I narrowed it down to 2 individuals. The 2 individuals that I narrowed it down to, and I will say that one of them was Craig. And after doing a lot of thinking about this, a lot of time involved. That's the other thing, Doug, you never really told me about, was the amount of time you think about this stuff, even when you're not in this building. It just never goes away. I echo what you're saying, Jen. I think Craig right now would be the best fit at this period of time, based on the candidates. Now, again, I want to emphasize this. I really thank the other candidates for stepping up. They all had tremendous strengths and skill sets in various areas. But I guess the real testament here is it was a difficult choice to make. It really was a difficult choice to make. So but I'm in agreement there. It's interesting. We came at it totally opposite.
Yeah, let me just add, I not that everybody had the knowledge and of all the different topics that I touched on, because they didn't. And but that's kind of a good thing in a way that you have individuals coming in that with a fresh perspective. I think that would be helpful to us at this point too. And so yeah, Craig, it sounds like we're in agreement here. I guess we need a motion on this at this point. You're ready to move forward?
I'm ready to move forward.
Okay. I make a motion that we appoint Craig Ebersol to the open supervisor position.
To fill the term until.
And to fill the term until December 31st, 2021.
And I will second that. Comments or questions from, yes?
I just have a comment. I wasn't sure what you were gonna talk about, how you were gonna handle it, but think both of you came at it from a different perspective, as you said. I liked the questions you asked, because there's no handbook written for this job. You don't walk in here and somebody hands you a book and they say, here's what you gotta know, because every day it's changing. So I think you made the right choice. I had nothing to do with it. I'm gonna, I don't know if this will be a cross around Craig's neck or not, but he and I served as supervisors together. I know what he can do. I probably would have asked, and it doesn't matter, but I probably would have asked 2 other questions of everybody. What do you know about second class township code? Have you read any of them? And what do you know about the sunshine law? Because that governs this whole place. Any place. There's things you do in business you can't do here. You absolutely can't do it. You're being watched under a microscope. So I applaud both of you. I think you made the right choice. And have fun, Craig.
Thank you, Doug. Any other questions, comments? Okay, we have a motion. I'm sorry.
No, go.
Sure. Okay. We have a motion on the floor. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposing. Motion carries.
Floor is yours.
Floor is yours.
You can't come up here again.
No.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the confidence that you're showing in me. As we discussed, I have no personal agenda. I refer to East Cocalico Township as the center of the universe. Many people know that we've been here since around 1729 in my family, and 1745 in my wife's family. So we either love it here or we ain't got too far in life yet. But I look forward to starting with the 2 of you to the end of the year. No, I don't. I'm not looking for a job.
Good, because it's a volunteer position.
I'm not looking to use it as a springboard to run for anything. I don't plan to ever have my name on the ballot again. So none of that. But anyway, thank you for your confidence, and I look forward to working with the 2 of you and the various staff individuals here at the township.
Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, Craig. Okay. Moving on to, I guess, general report, manager's report, some general items that we have here.
Several things occurred since the last meeting, including what was touched on by Brett. The new filing cabinets and desk upstairs is organized in reference to financial administrator moved into her same office, but with new things. The human resource manager is successfully in her office, and some changes occurred in the front office with Lisa. So I thank the road crew tremendously for all the work they put in for that, and to Judy, Shirley, and Lisa for all the time they spent organizing and getting things correct. There was a meeting with Josh Kilmer of Kilmer Insurance Group on April 14th. Attending was Mr. Mitchell, myself, and financial administrator Judy. We talked about the liability insurance for the township throughout, from the police department standpoint and also from the township side. I think we are looking forward to getting their reports and having the quarterly meetings continue to make sure that we're on the same page with everything we need to do. Tomorrow, I will be attending a PennDOT meeting in reference to Route 322 and 222. I was invited. Yes, this is not our area, obviously, but at some point in May, when the traffic is transitioned, they're going to be closing the Route 322 for a weekend. And they wanted to make their neighbors aware, not only from the police department standpoint, from the township standpoint. So I'll be attending that meeting tomorrow. The road crew is continually doing a great job street sweeping this week. Hats off to them for a great job. I drove several of the roads today, had the opportunity to see, and it looks very nice, and they're doing a good job. I got an update from Windstream and Custom Computers in reference to the upgrade that is occurring for the internet service to the township. This will greatly help the Zoom meeting qualities, and it will help obviously production throughout the building. The township side of things, in reference to the new Wi-Fi and internet service, it's my understanding that there'll be 200, and I believe I'm not a computer guy, but I think it's 200 megabytes in and 200 megabytes out, which is a tremendous increase from what we have now. So that's a move that was well needed, and it should be coming soon. We're on the list for Windstream. And finally, I am to read a letter in reference to received from the district attorney's office of Lancaster County, dated March 9th, 2021, addressed to the former township manager. Our office has received an allegation that the East Cocalico Township Board of Supervisors, specifically Chairman Alan R. Fry, violated 65 PS or PACS 701, the Sunshine Act. Specifically, it is alleged that during the February 4th, 2021 meeting, members of the Board of Supervisors voted to hold the next meeting in person. This was an official act as defined by the Sunshine Act and committed by the Board of Supervisors to that action. However, immediately thereafter, Mr. Fry, without public notice or comment, changed that course of action and directed that the meeting be held via Zoom video conferencing technology. Assuming all allegations in this complaint are true, this unilateral action in direct contravention of the board's publicly voted on course of action amounts to a violation of one or more sections of the Sunshine Act. The purpose of this letter is twofold. First, I wish to advise you that our office will not initiate a formal investigation of the allegation. The current circumstances surrounding the global pandemic are mitigating factors in this case, and formal investigation and prosecution will not be in the interest of justice at this time. Secondly, now that you have been notified of the unlawful nature of the board and Mr. Fry's conduct, upon complaint of a subsequent violation, we will initiate investigation of the Sunshine Act violation, as it would have been done with the full knowledge, the action was unlawful. An investigation could result in the prosecution being filed against members of the Board of Supervisors for a violation of the act. I would encourage members of the Board of Supervisors to consult with your solicitor if you have any questions about the legality of any action you contemplate taking on behalf of the township. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Signed, sincerely yours, Kent L. Schweitzer, the Chief County Detective of Lancaster County.
You're all done there.
I have nothing further.
I have something to add also in terms of full disclosure. We now have Shirley, our HR administrator. She is now at this time, she's screening all of the emails that are coming in Cocalico. So it's the procedure I described in our last meeting in terms of what we're doing to help each other out internally. Shirley's screening all of the emails as they come in. Once she screens those emails, anything that might be legal in nature or sensitive in nature, those are immediately coming to Jeff and myself at this time, or we'll go to Craig then from here on out also for the board. Anything that is related to in screening those emails, what she's going to be doing from a procedural perspective is anything that's related to the possibility of something like it could be for the road, looks like it's for the roadmaster, she'll send that off to the roadmaster. If it looks like it's something that may be related to anything such as financial, it'll go to Judy and so on and so forth. Prior to that, what we were doing at the time was those were being screened by Tony at the time, but we're now going to have Shirley doing those and screening those and sending those. Okay.
Just as an aside too,
Yeah.
a different issue, Eddie, when we were talking with the insurance agent the other day, we did discuss that we would be adding a skate park at some time and playground equipment. So
Thank you.
they will be on the list when we.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, we double checked on all that.
Is there, just a question, I don't know, because of the condition of the current basketball court at the pool, that was a liability, the fact that we're getting it redone, you think it's gonna reduce it even a little?
We talked about that actually.
New blacktop on the basketball court.
And also in reference to the skate scooter bike park, that he said, I gave him the drawing of that, and he said that is not above the 4 foot.
Yeah, he was worried about 4 foot.
Right.
back.
It's not.
Right,
You know,
so
when-
that shouldn't cause a problem either.
Yeah, when you fall from, apparently the 4 foot mark is a make or break kind of idea. So he was very pleased that it wasn't anything like that.
Great, awesome.
So yeah, when these things, completion date actually comes, we'll have to make sure we follow up and notify him of completion.
Okay, did you give him the drawings of everything as well? or-
Yeah, he did get the skate park.
You
I
get the,
gave him the initial, I have to follow up with him on the other stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, we should be good there.
Okay, so, public comment portion, public comment for non-agenda items. Please state your name clearly so it helps Lisa in terms of putting together the meeting minutes. Okay, June, go first.
June came back, I looked at the township website today, and I can't see it all on my phone now, but we used to have the email addresses on there during township closure of the offices. And I didn't see that on here anymore. You said that she's screening all the emails, but I don't see the email addresses on here anymore. I see phone numbers.
The township manager email. So when they come in addressed to the township manager, Shirley's, I'm sorry, I apologize. Yeah, let me clarify that. The township manager emails that are coming inbound, Shirley's screening those and then redirecting them.
But I don't see the email addresses for the township employees. Maybe it is there.
Yeah, it's under contact staff directory. I just pulled it up. I think it's there.
Like I said, I can't see the whole thing on my phone. but- Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, Doug Macklin, where do we stand with that? Where do we stand with the investigation of the missing files that contain the social security numbers and W-2s? I got a letter and I'm a little concerned.
Okay.
And you told us we're all gonna get one, that's fine, but
So, where we stand with that is, there is no formal investigation occurring within the building for that. That was deemed by, our insurance carrier, when they looked at that, as well as their counsel, that there was no need for an investigation because it was a pure, clerical error that was made internally. So what we are in the process of doing now is putting in place corrective actions so that does not occur again. But so to answer your question, there's no need for a formal investigation at this time.
so what you're saying is they're not missing. You found them?
No, they are misplaced somewhere in the building.
So it doesn't arise to a criminal offense? You know, I said that, I was talking with somebody about this. I said, I'm going on 80 years old. You gave me 5 years of protection. I might not be here in 5 years. If you're a 25-year-old or 30-year-old kid, 5 years ain't gonna do any good, and you can't get another social security number. They will not issue you a second social security number. So they're basically SOL for the rest of their life. I'm just saying, if you find this person or persons, they ought to be locked up and thrown in jail. I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's you. This is, I mean, it's criminal. You say what you want, it's criminal. I'll ask you, I'll ask you, I'll ask you. Is that criminal? somebody steals your,
Well, it's not specifically known if it was stolen.
what's missing, I mean, you can't
I
find it.
understand that.
How long is it gonna take somebody to get through this building? I could do this whole building in a week myself. I'd empty every freaking desk drawer and pull the carpet up. If it ain't in the building, it's going.
How do you know it's still in the building?
Well, that's what I'm asking. I can't get an answer. I don't understand. There's a game being played here. I don't like it. I'm sorry.
We believe it's.
And I know you're sworn to secrecy, and I understand the legal process, but I don't sit there and tell me this doesn't rise to a crime. I don't buy into it. I'm not stupid.
So again, what I will say at this point is, one point of clarification is the normally recommended by our insurance carrier, the normally recommended monitoring time was 1 year. We went ahead with a 5-year monitoring period for the due diligence for our employees and the protection.
And that's fine, RC, and I'm gonna make full disclosure. If something happens to my information, I will be down here with a lawsuit. I'll own this town. That's not a threat, that's a promise. This ticks me off. I could use stronger language, but it's being recorded. It's asinine in plain English how that happened. When Craig and I were supervisors, there was one person who had access to that information. I didn't even have a key to her room. Nobody did. If that woman went out and got hurt, heaven forbid she did pass away, but under our watch, if she would have got hurt, we would have had to go to her house and get the key to get into her house. That stuff was, I mean, and everybody said she was old school. Nothing ever happened on her watch. Nothing. Not to this level. That's right. This is asinine. And
I hear you. Thank you.
I mean, Dave Hollinger owns a business. What would you do to somebody if that stuff would disappear? You don't even have to answer that. I know, I'm not gonna put you on the spot. But you know, it's just crazy.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, like to announce that the next Board of Supervisors meeting will be held on Thursday, May 6th at 7. That'll be held in person here in the Township Building and via Zoom with the new system, with the new process that we currently have in place. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. And I'd like a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion.
And I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you.
Hey, Craig. Hold on.